Welcome to Scrum Masters Elite_UK. Let's explore Scott Robertson's impressive return with the Barbarians after leaving the All Blacks. A lesson on the attitude required to face change in sports. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more updates.
When I first heard that the former head coach of the All Blacks, Scott Robertson, would be returning to coaching with the Barbarians this summer, my first emotion wasn't excitement, it was a pause. A long enough pause for me to ask myself, in elite sports, how fragile is the boundary between the pinnacle of glory and a turning point? His appointment just 1 month after being unexpectedly dismissed from his role as the All Blacks head coach made me reflect more on the harshness of professional sports. I don't view this story through the lens of pity or dramatization. I see it as a real snapshot of modern rugby, where performance, national expectations, and media pressure can shift the course of a career in a very short time. This return isn't in a typical role. Robertson will co-coach the Barbarians with Felipe Contepomi for their 2-match tour, facing the Springboks at Nelson Mandela Bay and then Wales at Allianz Stadium. Twickenham, a historic invitational team, taking on the 2-time world champions right on their home turf. This is no easy challenge. It's a true test. I paid particular attention to Robertson's statement that the Barbarians bring together the rugby world, and he feels honoured to wear that jersey. In those words, I didn't hear bitterness, resistance, or defensiveness. I heard pride and serenity. Perhaps that's what made me reflect more deeply on the character of a coach who had once been at the peak.
To me, the Barbarians are not just a team. They symbolize the spirit of openness and internationalism in rugby. There, players from many countries come together briefly, putting aside their national colors to create a free-spirited and creative form of rugby. This is in stark contrast to the pressure of a national team like the All Blacks, where every decision carries historical weight. I wonder, will the shift from a tightly organized system to a team built in just a week change Robertson's perspective on coaching? When he and Contepomi put together a team in such a short time to face the Springboks, a team led by Rassie Erasmus, the challenge isn't just tactical. It's about establishing trust instantly. Contepomi also shared that assembling a team in a week to face South Africa is a major challenge. I see honesty in that. No embellishments, no avoidance. Facing the world champions for 2 consecutive years on their home turf has never been easy. But acknowledging this difficulty gives me comfort. When a leader fully understands the scale of the challenge, only then can they prepare the right mindset. I think of Nelson Mandela Bay, a legendary stadium where South African fans always create an electric atmosphere. I imagine the loud cheers when the Springboks step onto the field. In that setting, the Barbarians are not just facing a team, they are facing a winning tradition, an identity forged over generations. Rassie Erasmus said that this match is an ideal opportunity to prepare for the nation's championship. I see that as a testament to the strategic nature of modern rugby. No match is simply an exhibition in the simple sense. Every encounter is part of a larger picture: team structure, mentality, readiness for the new season.
What resonates most with me isn't the technical aspect, but Robertson's journey. Being unexpectedly dismissed was a shock. But instead of fading away from the spotlight, he chose to return as soon as the opportunity arose. Not in an easy role, but in a public challenge against the world's top opponents. Here, I realize a lesson for myself. My identity shouldn't rely on a position or title. When one door closes, what matters isn't what I've lost, but how I respond. Robertson didn't criticize or engage in public disputes. He continued to do what he does best: coach. For fans, I think this is also a reminder about how we view failure. In the age of social media, we're quick to judge and demand perfection. But sport, after all, is a series of continuous adjustments. Even great systems like the All Blacks have to evolve, and the leaders of those systems sometimes become part of that change. The 10th meeting between the Barbarians and the Springboks is not just a number. It symbolizes the long-standing relationship between 2 rugby traditions. I see continuity in that, an unbroken thread connecting the past with the present. And Robertson, in his new role, becomes part of that flow. I also think about the diversity of the coaching staff. Contepomi from Argentina, along with names like Patrice Colozzo and Kenny Lynn. A star-studded team, but from different rugby cultures. This reflects the globalization of the sport. Knowledge is no longer confined by national borders. Exchange and mutual learning have become invaluable assets. On a personal level, I've learned that collaborating with people from different backgrounds can broaden my own perspective. Just like the Barbarians assemble top individuals in a short time, I can also learn to be more adaptable when working in a changing environment.
When I think of the match at Allianz Stadium, Twickenham, I see another aspect, the connection between men's and women's rugby in the same event. This shows that sports are moving toward balance and mutual respect. It reminds me that the value of sports isn't only in winning, but in creating a common space for the community. I don't know how the Barbarians will perform. Maybe they'll pull off a surprise. Maybe they'll struggle against the structured play of the Springboks. But to me, the result isn't the only thing worth noting. What stands out is how they approach this challenge, with openness, respect for their opponents, and a desire to play beautiful rugby. To me, this story is also a reminder about professionalism. Rassie Erasmus emphasized the importance of team structure and professional mentality from the start of the season. That makes me reflect on my own life. Every new phase requires serious preparation. If I wait until the pressure is on to adjust, it might already be too late. I've also realized that in both sports and life, reputation isn't a shield that lasts forever. Robertson was once a symbol of success at the club level and was highly expected to lead the All Blacks. But high expectations come with high risks. What I've learned is that instead of clinging to the image of the past, I need to be ready to redefine myself when circumstances change. For fans, perhaps the most important thing is to maintain fairness in judgment. A coach doesn't become incompetent just because of a dismissal. A team doesn't lose its identity just because of a transitional phase. If we love sports, we must also accept its cyclical nature.
And for humanity in general, this story shows me the value of comebacks. Not to prove someone wrong, but to continue one's own journey. Robertson and Contepomi's calmness in their statements make me believe they truly understand this. As summer approaches and the Barbarians take the field in South Africa, I won't just be watching the skills or tactics. I'll be watching how a person faces a career turning point. I'll ask myself, if I were in their shoes, would I have the same composure to continue? Ultimately, what stays with me isn't the story of a match, but the story of attitude. Attitude toward change, attitude toward challenges, and attitude toward oneself. I've learned that, for myself, maintain professionalism and be ready to restart when needed. For fans, view sports with empathy and understanding. For humanity in general, see each turning point as an opportunity to grow. Rugby, in this case, isn't just about the hard collisions on the field. It's a mirror reflecting how we face change. And in Scott Robertson's return with the Barbarians, I see a simple yet profound lesson: the journey doesn't end just because one door closes.
Thank you for following Scrum Masters Elite_UK. The story of Scott Robertson's return with the Barbarians is a lesson on the attitude needed to face change and challenges in sports. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more exploration.